7 days a week, 365 days a year, I wake up and I think about all those people out there in the world that has an eBay account and they have my money. What's my job? Get my money. Get it into my hands. I want my money in my hands. And if you don't think the same thing, you should. You need to be wondering, where's my money? And then you need to go get it. And I'm here to tell you how to get it. That's what this channel is all about. This channel doesn't charge you a penny. It's only here to help make you money using methods that you never thought of before. Once in a while, you need to hear some motivation and some a pep talk, kind of a swat you in the backside kind of a talk. And this is one of those talks. Now, sometimes you will hear the following. Matter of fact, it's said a lot in reselling communities, especially the largest Amazon, FBA, Replens reselling community on Facebook and really in the world. The huge community promoting selling on Amazon only, promoting pretty much these days just the Replens model on Amazon, which is a failed model. I will never understand why they encourage newcomers to do that when it will be a failed model for the vast majority of them. eBay is a winning model for the vast majority of beginners and also ultra advanced, which is where you are. Now, those types of groups will always teach you the following. You make money not when you sell an item, but when you purchase an item. What they think they're being cute about is they're saying, look, it's all about how much you pay because whatever you sell it for is just whatever the market will bear. So you have to pay less and less and less in order to make more and more money. And therefore, you make money when you buy it in a way because you'll ultimately sell it, you hope, except the problem with Amazon is the price tanks on you constantly. But I know this is an eBay channel. Some of you have never sold on Amazon before. Good. Don't worry about it. There's nothing there, nothing to see there. Move on. But they're trying to say you want to pay as little as possible. The problem with selling on Amazon, especially the Replens model, that is a failed model. Did I tell you that in the last 3 seconds? You have to spend a ton of money to make a little tiny bit of money. On eBay, that's not the case. You have to spend a little tiny bit of money. I'm here to show you how to spend as little as possible to make massive returns. I want you every morning to do what this guy's doing, to do what I do. I want you to go get your money. And I'm going to show you how to do it. eBay is the wonderful platform to do that. You need to understand, however, when you make your money on eBay. When you make your money on eBay is not when you buy something, not when you buy inventory to resell. That's not really when you make it on Amazon or the Replens model or FBA or any of those other lies either. It's not. That's not when you make the money technically or any other way, accounting-wise or anything. But they're trying to make a point that you need to spend as little as possible. I'm trying to make that point. Therefore, run from the FBA Replens model. So let's recap. How do you get your money? You sell on eBay. When do you make your money? Not when you buy something. You make your money when you sell something. Let's be honest, that's the real reason. But I'm going to pull the same little trick that all those Amazon reselling gurus are trying to pull. And my trick is actually pretty accurate. And that is on eBay, using the same sort of fuzzy concept, you make your money when you list an item. That's when you make your money on eBay. Now, here's why I say that. Look at it this way. No one has ever in the history of the world knocked on your front door and said, you know all that stuff on your big death pile over there that you never listed? I want to buy all of that. No one ever says that. No one's ever knocked on my door and says, all those unlisted items you have piled up in that mountain, I want to buy it all. No, they only tell me they want to buy something when I have listed it and they know it's available on eBay. So how can you tackle that death pile? A death pile is all of the goods that you've been buying that you haven't got listed yet. Now I'm going to tell you something. Here's what people find out about the groups that they're in that I'm training on. They at first think, I don't really know what to source. I'm not very good at used items. I don't really know what's worth money at a garage sale. And I'm not too sure I really want to do this, especially people who have tried and failed the Amazon Replens model because they're used to going into a retail store and doing a bunch of sourcing and spending a ton of money and coming out with a whole lot of brand new sexy items that they can make a few pennies on every single one, hopefully before the price tanks. Whereas on eBay, sometimes you go to a thrift store, sometimes you go to a garage sale, sometimes it's a little bit dirty. Sometimes you've got a Wagnerware skillet that you have to clean before you can list it on eBay because it's got some stains and stuff. And it's like, man, I don't want to mess with that. Well, it's like a $150 skillet. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, it's just put some grease remover on it and put it under water or something. I mean, that's all there is. I don't know, I'm a man, but that's all you do, I think. Anyway, of course, this is a different model, but this is the model that works best and consistently, and your price will not tank on you. But the problem everyone finds out whenever they've been in my groups for a while is, wow, I didn't know anything about how to source some of this old used items at garage sale and thrift store, but I am doing great. Look at my huge death pile. And I'm going, that's not something to brag about. You need to be listing or you'll never make any money. So I want to kind of encourage you with 3 or 4 listing strategies that might help you tackle your death pile because it's so much easier to buy a bunch of stuff and so much more fun for many of us than to list that stuff once we get it home. But you've got to. It's a whole lot more fun to go out and grab you a cold brew coffee and go to all the garage sales. That's a lot more fun than sitting at home listing for a lot of people. But you've got to sit home and list more than you go out shopping or else you'll never get your death pile listed. Here's the strategy. List your death pile by size. Biggest items first. That will help you lower that big pile of stuff that is just an eyesore every time you get it, every time you walk by it. Because it's just bringing you down. It's bringing the month down is what it's doing. Every time you pass your death pile, your shelving, your shelves and shelves, it's bringing you down. It's depressing you. You may not realize it, just a little tiny bit every time you pass by it. But it's kind of bringing you down. It's like I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, and then you never do it and it just gets bigger and all of that. If you tackle your death pile by biggest items first, that means that death pile will start to shrink faster. At least visually, it will shrink faster. And this strategy works for a lot of people. Doesn't work for me. It works for a lot of people. I don't think it will work for the majority of you, but it works for some people. You could try it first. Get those big items out of your way, off the big shelf, taking up all the space. Get them listed and get them sold and out the door. That will give you some momentum. That will make you kind of encouraged to list more and more. That's the goal. Your second way of listing your death pile might be by highest purchase price first, by highest cost. Take the items that you spent the most money sourcing, and you really shouldn't spend a lot of money sourcing. There really shouldn't be anything really jump out at you that I spent a whole lot more on these 4 things than everything else. Unless they are gigantically large returns and they're worth hundreds of dollars, you really shouldn't ever say that. Sometimes you make a mistake and you buy something that you shouldn't have that isn't really going to bring as much as you want. That happens. Don't worry about it. Either list it or donate it. Get it out of your way. It's not important. Don't dwell on it. It's not a big deal. Just a rounding error. You're in this for the long haul. You learn. That's the price of tuition. But if you take your highest cost items off that death pile, at least you're getting your money back into the system. So let's say you take the 5 things that you paid the most to source and you finally get those listed and you should price them at a price to get them out of the way, get them out the door. This will help you if you're having a problem with your death pile. Get those 5 items sold. Price them in the middle of the pricing range. Get them sold. Get that money back so that it can start working for you on far more items that are more efficient, that you're more likely to list faster. So the highest cost first listing strategy is is a possible strategy that can help you financially if you're running a little short on cash because you spent all your money on just a few things, or it's just another mental incentive that will help you list more items. The third way out of 4 is grab the highest priced items first. That way you have the most money coming in. And that's kind of encouraging. So you go to your death pile and you look it all over and you go, here are 2 items that are going to bring far more than anything else on this pile. And you go in and you list it and you get them sold. That's great. That gives you a lot of working capital if you didn't have enough before to buy more items and to get that money pumping for you. And that allows you to go get your money from all those eBayers out there who have it. And that allows you to, you breathe a sigh of relief. You see that your sales figures are higher this month than they've ever been or than they've been in a while. And it's just an encouraging way to tackle that death pile. I think it's the worst way. I think this is the least productive way of tackling your death pile. I don't think it encourages you to then run back and list more. That's the whole idea, is to get that death pile gone, because guess what? You really make your money on eBay when you list it. I know when you sell it, but when you list an item, that's when the opportunity to make that money begins. It doesn't begin when you buy it. It begins when you list it. I think for most people, the best strategy to get that death pile completely listed is to walk over and grab the next item that you see and photograph it and list it. Walk over, another trip to the bank, walk over and get, that was my eBay app, by the way. I'm sure a lot of you know that. Walk over and get the next item randomly. Just the first, not even randomly, just the next item. Either on the bottom shelf and you work your way up, or the top shelf and work your way down. Get the next item. Photograph it, list it. Walk over and get the next item. If it's big, if it's small, if it's worth a lot, if it's not worth a lot, if it'll sell for a lot, if it'll sell for a little, do this not randomly, but just the next item, however you determine your next direction will be. I think this has the best chance. This is a very good feeling, because you will start getting some items that you've been wanting to get listed because they're fun to list, and or you'll be getting some items that bring a little bit more money than others once in a while, and you're going to be getting some of the junky items out of the way that you can only ask $12 for, that you thought whenever you sourced it maybe you could get $25, but it turns out you can't, and so you've just been ignoring it and haven't wanted to list it. This forces you to list the next item. Small, big, good or bad, you list the next item. And that really is best for you, to encourage you to keep listing, to keep on hammering, because you get feedback constantly. Good, I got some of the low-priced items out of the way today. Oh, that feels great. Now I get to more fun things. Oh, and I got a couple of fun things. So it wasn't just a terrible morning. Oh, and I got a couple of high-priced items up for sale. So I'm going to make some money there. That's something to look forward to. Oh, and I got a few of those higher cost items out of the way. You're not getting all of your high cost items done first. You're getting some. This is just part of the process of just going to get the next item no matter what. I think that this trains you. It trains your body. It gives you muscle memory. I think it gives you the training to just understand that listing is part of this business. I think it's the most important part of this business, not sourcing. Listing is the most important part of this business, because with eBay, it's the last thing people do. It's the one thing people don't do enough of. You stick with me, walk with me, talk with me. I'll show you the way. You stick with me, and I'm going to show you a lot of ways to find things cheap, things that you'll go to a garage sale, and everyone else is over here looking at garbage that, well, high quality stuff that everyone wants, and you're over here on a table that no one's at, and that's where the money is. That's, speaking of money, another trip to the bank. Anyway, that's what I want you to start doing, is understanding that you make your money you only have the opportunity to make your money whenever you're listing. And these are listing strategies. I think the best way is to force yourself tomorrow morning. Get up, get out of bed, drag a comb across your head, and then say, I'm going to get my money. Go to your death pile shelving and grab the next item and list it. You will see that I'm right. You'll go, wow, that's pretty cool. That's not something I would have gotten around to listing for a long time, and yet there it is, and I'm going to make some money off of it. It's no longer one of those eyesores that I pass by every single day.